Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, for this field report, it's pretty simple. Fishing's still good. I mean, listen, and I know that I kind of maybe wrap it all up too much, but there's certainly great opportunities up and down the coast. That's the first place that I'll go. Hey, where are you going, dog? Get over here. Come here. Rest. Sit. Sorry. I don't want to run around. Certainly, if there's places that you like to chase fall chinook in October, okay, along the coast, and it doesn't matter if North Coast, Central, or South, go. Okay, the conditions are great because the rivers aren't popped, right? Bays are going to be fishing good outside, and bubbles and jaws are going to be fishing like they're supposed to. It's just like anything else. You got to be there and play the tides the right way. I got reports from areas down south, which we might show to the Silettes. Sorry. That area all the way up north, up into the even further than Tillamook. Great opportunities. I say it that way because people get upset sometimes when I mention particular locations. But yes, there's great opportunities. Herring, for certain, still works great. One of my buddies wanted me to remind everyone of that, that don't forget old school, just lead dropper and a cut plug herring. Seems to be working well, although there's no question that the 360 thing and spinners is extremely effective as well. And in some of the bays right now and other areas, mouths and tributaries, folks that are twitching for silvers on the days that they are open for all, and even for those days that it's just hatchery fish only, have been very productive. So kind of keep that in mind. That should be progressing going through November. And, you know, for myself, I'm hoping we start to get a whole, for all you bay anglers, forgive me, I hope the rain comes and doesn't stop for like a month. Okay, that's just me being a bit selfish, but that's where I like to find my fall chinook and silvers for that matter going forward. But it's also great for duck hunting. By the way, let's take a look at some of those rivers. I don't think things are really going to change a whole lot, and it's going to take a bunch of rain for there to be any change going forward before we get into November and even after. It's going to take days of the ground getting soaked, right? Because it's been dry for so long, and then you're going to start seeing the rivers start to bounce, which again is what we're all looking for. You do see a slight bounce starting on Wednesday if we actually get the rain. We'll learn more from Katie here in just a little bit if that actually might happen. But along the coast, yeah, pretty darn flat, pretty darn low. 3.8 is where it's currently at on the Wilson, the Silettes, same thing, very, very low. All the fishing is going to be in the bays and the lower estuaries where you're going to have water. Remember to play the tides, though, especially when you start getting down into some of the other areas along the coast, because that can be the difference between actually being able to fish and not. So it's just like anything else. You got to play the game the right way. But the rivers, nothing's forecasted to happen. And if you haven't noticed, we are no longer showing fish counts currently. It's just not really relevant for us right now, although there still are a handful of fish going over Bonneville. Fishing on the Columbia is still an absolute option. But again, lots of other options that are out there. Trout fishing is still holding on. If you want to do some, I even got a report yesterday from a friend, I'm not going to say exactly where, but chasing crappie, okay, panfish. Are still options. This is the time of year where they start to feed up again. So it's not just a salmon world out there. There are certainly some other options that are out there. So look into it. Okay, this has got so much traction and we have a ton of fun with it. ProCure does a giveaway for us every week. They don't have to, but we love it, right? We used to do more giveaways than anything. I mean, it was a ton and we love to do it. This is an easy one. Send an email to Jason at ProCure and say, hey man, I want to be the winner. They do draw a winner each week, and it's going to start to slant more towards winter steelhead as we go forward. Okay, let's check in with Katie and find out what that weather is going to be like. And it's still a little gloomy out there, a little foggy this morning.
I know, look at this. You can barely see. If you didn't see the trees right here, you'd have no idea what we were looking at. Okay, here's what I have for you. Fog for you this morning. This is the ski bowl camera. You can tell obviously not much visibility here. It's a little better when you head down into the Willamette Valley. Not as foggy right now as it was this time yesterday. We did end up with some of that evening drizzle last night, just like we talked about. It accumulated to 3/100 of an inch, but not much. Not expecting much more this morning. You can see by the time we get through the day and into the night, just a few clouds. Not too much cloud cover back and forth from that through tomorrow. Expecting to be partly cloudy, but dry, likely dry. until we get to Tuesday. Now, Tuesday morning, we start to see some indications that there are some showers. As we get into the afternoon, they should kick in. We might actually see some pass level snow. When we say that, don't get worried. It's still, the ground is still too warm. It would melt right away. Nothing that would accumulate, be kind of slushy, and this should stay through Wednesday. The thing that we're watching, and this one's for you, Owen, if you're listening, you want that rain. We have this one system that comes down. This is what's giving us the Wednesday, Thursday. In order for that rain to continue, we need the second low to come down and reinforce that one. We need the high pressure to stay off to our west. If it decides it wants to come in, it could kick out that second system. Accumulation-wise, not much more for today, but at this point, once we get through Wednesday, Thursday, this model's a little heavy on the rain, but I did that one for Owen, hopefully, because you want to see a little more showers coming through. Then we do look like we will likely be dry going into Saturday, the last full weekend of October.
Well, it's a start, right? I mean, it's still October. I can't be too greedy, right?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten our rain for the month yet. Like, we're still behind where we should be. So I'm hoping the heavier models are right and we get, you know, at least another inch before we dry up this weekend.
Yeah, that'd be great. Inch, 2, 3. I mean, I'm not being greedy here.
That's pushing it.
Thanks, Katie. Have a great week. All right, everyone, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, we're going to have Eric Winther on from the Pike Mineral Reward Program. We're going to bookend this reporting of their season this year. How big were those numbers? Who made the most money? Well, not who, but how much money did the participant that made the most actually produce this year? And how were those numbers overall? We'll see when we come back. And then don't forget, we still have a couple of great tech tips with our Chevy Silverado Tech Tip of the Week. We'll be right back.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by CCA Oregon, fish focused, member driven, and by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear.